TV and you're watching the Power Talk Show with the amazing Johnny Simpson. Johnny, how are you today?
I'm very well, Mark. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm so looking forward to when we've got this show finished, getting out in the garden and trying to get, more suntan on top of my head.
It's a beautiful day. I have another interview after this one, so I'll hopefully get out after that. But hey, no, it's all good. It's all good.
This is the advantage of, being bald, that you can put a lovely tan that goes all over your head. You guys can't do it. But you have the advantage of keeping your head nice and warm in the winter, whereas mine kind of goes blue. So it goes from white to brown to blue. Complete different set of colours. Well, for everyone that's watching, we're doing this series on how to make money online. Now, this is incredibly important because we're going into a world of complete unknownness, if that's the real word. And, the politicians, industrial leaders, everybody's talking about this recession we're about to go into, right? So we're talking about maybe 2 years of this, and there'll be a knock-on effect beyond. And this recession is going to be nearly as bad or worse, maybe. This is what they're saying. This is their opinions, than going back to 1930. So if you're sitting in the house and, you're self-isolating and you think, oh, I'm bored or I'm going to get back to work, we're going to have to give you a reality check, because when you go back, things are going to change. Jobs that were there have gone. Jobs that are still there might become 3 days a week, 2 days a week. We don't know. We have no idea. But all we know is there is financial insecurity coming along. And it's really important to use your time now to create additional income streams. So we've been talking about this, Johnny and I, and last week we said, well, one of the routes, to go down is to be an affiliate, whereby you are promoting other people's products. So like everything that's on Amazon, you're just putting out links to certain products and you get paid for it. And probably about 30% of all Amazon's business. Now, I did some research, Johnny, and during the week they were saying that figure is near 50% now. 50% of 100 billion turnover. And this is actually coming from, I remember where I saw this. This is actually a genuine figure. It's 50%. And this has come from the CEO of Amazon. It comes from people referring business and then getting paid between 4 and 10%. So today what Johnny and I are going to talk about is the other side of it. Rather than, just building up a database of people, which is where the value is, and then promoting other people's product, is actually becoming a creator. And we're going to talk about what it is to be a creator. Johnny's a creator. I'm a creator, in terms of having courses, digital courses and the like that people can buy. And so we're going to talk about what that involves. So Johnny, I think probably the starting point for this is, why become a creator? Why create products like digital courses?
That is a good question, first of all. Obviously, there's the freedom behind it, but I think the main thing for most people is, if you're going to create your own course or something like that, it can be something you're experienced in or want to be experienced in, or a passion you have. Something that you've wanted to delve into, but maybe told yourself you've never had the time to do before. We've all got those things in the back of the cupboard that we want to get out and actually embrace. So I think this is a good way to do it, because if you can create money from your passion, then that's a double win. And that is the absolute answer to freedom, in my opinion, anyway. So
I think that's a very, very good point, because everybody's got things that they're passionate about, and everybody's got certain talents that they're good at. So what John and I have done is we've created a list, which we'll go through at the back end, of people that have used their own talents to make money. So we're probably just going to touch on that. And so for example, I'll throw one in there. If you happen to be really good at training dogs, right, or cats, or flying goldfish or whatever it is, that's a talent. That's something that people will pay to watch, to learn, because courses tend to be relatively cheap these days. I mean, what are the things do you think that people might have as talents that they're forgetting about?
This is the absolute beauty in it. It's so individual that's without trying to generalize things too much, the biggest part of this will be self-discovery for a lot of people. And going back to those roots, some things, like I said, people say they may be too old for, or they're not. But I honestly think the answer is limitless there, because every person is so different. That's why the consumer market can keep on growing, because every person has different wants and needs, and we can create products out of those. So I honestly think there is a bit of a challenge there, but I think any idea could be monetized if it's given the time to actually be thought about, executed, and then given the time to grow. So, like you say, people have different interests in every area. So you could find a gap in the market. You could compare to a product that's maybe a little bit flawed and create something better. You can look at other patents to get inspiration from, or you could, if you have an idea that nobody's ever done before, it could be as crazy as you want. I really don't think there's a limit with this, because the word create, it's obviously so subjective, isn't it? It's limitless.
So I was looking at some examples, because it's okay talking about this, but I think people need to be inspired. So
Yeah, okay.
I touched on the subject of influencing people, so you can influence people in different ways.
Yeah.
And, as part of maybe some neuro-linguistic programming. And there's a lady called Vanessa Van Edwards, and she's got a number of courses, but she's got 127,000 students around the world on her topic of how to influence people. So if you want to learn how to influence people, you can do one of her courses. But if you work it out, 127,000 students, and even if they only paid something small like $10 or £10 or €10,
Yeah.
that one course which she's completed, she's made it digital, she stuck it out there on a platform, and we're going to talk about platforms today where you can put these courses, has generated we're just going to assume over 1.2 is probably, in either pounds or dollars or euros, right? So she's taken a talent for that and gone, boom, retirement fund, never need to work again. And then people just keep on buying the course. And as long as they keep buying the course, those payments into a bank keep coming. And I think this is great. I had this dream 2 years ago. I'm getting closer and closer towards this, where I can wake up in the morning and I can, half asleep, I can look at my phone. This is my phone, by the way, right? It's called a palm top.
And we know that's a bad habit as well. Check your phone first thing in the morning. We don't want to do that. But if you're making that much money, I'll forgive you.
But I think this is okay, because I think this was what puts a smile on your face, and you turn on your phone. Right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. If you've achieved the dream. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, you turn on the phone and it says you've got, 10 sales of a course. And we're going to talk about courses that, they average normally about sort of $47. And you turn around and go, before you've even had your cornflakes and your cup of tea, you go, wow, I've made $470. I mean, what a start to the day. I mean, to me, that's probably one of the most kind of perfect dreams you can have, where you just, you know what you need, for your day, 100 quid, 200 quid, 400 quid or dollars, or whatever. And you turn on your phone, and overnight, people from around the world, have bought your courses. Now, I mean, this happens to me. I've got, let's see how many I've got. I've got 16,802. So I was looking this morning, enrollments in my courses, over 140 different countries. And I've got no idea where these people come from. It's just off the back of one platform. And I do that with my phone in the morning. I turn it on and I see what comes in. And, if it's a reasonable amount, it sets your day up, really, really well.
True. So
to me, that's the kind of perfect situation to be in, is where, you do something, and through the courses, you can look and go, wow, I've had some money, the pressure's off, and you've done nothing.
That's literally, our goals are very similar in that sense. My 5-year plan is, I want to be able to wake up on a beach somewhere. This has been my plan for a while, but just to be able to wake up, it's not exactly the same, but to be able to check in with clients by the beach, do the things I love, and then go about my day, and just do it over breakfast. And then, why can we not? It seems very possible if other people are doing it. That's exactly what I want to be doing.
I'm laughing because there are guys out there who wake up on a beach, but it's usually because they've been on a stag night, and then and something's happened, and they've had too much to drink, and they've been stuck on a plane, and they wake up the next day and they're in a different country, right? So as long as yours is a different plan to that, then I think that's a good one.
It is. It's but yeah, that is the goal, because I've been abroad, done that thing. I've had tastes of doing that before, but I want it full time.
Yeah, I mean, just on this why thing, we'll move on from this. But I think the idea of, if you do a course and call it $47, so it's price of a pair of shoes, and over the course of a day, a week, a month, a year, you pull in 1,000 students, and you got $47,000. and you
Yeah.
have to do very, very little because it's digital. You put it up once. The principle of this, I think, is fantastic. And I think every single person in the world, could do this. They won't do it, but they could do it because they've all got a talent for something, and people want to buy those courses. And so let's just kind of move the conversation on a bit and say, let's say someone says, right, I love the idea of this. Johnny, tell me, what do I need to start this? What equipment do I need?
See, well, if it's going to be like, say you want to develop like digital software or something like that, or sorry, like a digital course, then literally all you're going to need is, say, most decent phones have a good camera these days, most modern phones. So let's say, I don't know, an iPhone 10 or something, for example. Yep. That you've got your camera. Most people have the internet these days. It's very rare people don't. And then I would say a laptop with decent RAM, so you can create your content, you can upload it to the internet. And really, if you're creating courses in that sense, like, do you really need much more? Because probably most of your resources and tools are going to be online anyway.
Yeah.
And you can also save everything online as well with like digital databases. You can buy terabytes and terabytes of data for literally pounds now as well. Yeah. So you can literally take the whole process online.
Well, all the courses I've done have involved an iPhone, right, which I film off.
Yeah.
I've got a Mac, so I just airdrop the things to the Mac. Nothing, like I'm sitting with a backdrop here, or I've got a white wall. I've got no clever microphones. And the only other thing I bought is some light. Actually, I didn't even buy them. I was given them.
Yeah.
Some lights, just to create, just a bit more light if the room's a bit dull. And that is it. That is all I do. I do all the editing on the Mac. So I'm fortunate to have a Mac, but I think you were talking about Adobe software.
Yeah, you could use Adobe. Again, it's all online software. Obviously, you can download the programs, but you can also access them online. So it's, like the accessibility is very high. Yeah. Right. So the accessibility is very high, which means the starting point for essential needs is very low. And obviously, as you build your brand and it grows, you could maybe look at getting better lighting, better equipment, better editing tools, all that kind of thing. But to initially start, you really don't need that much. Yeah. So it's not as if you would have to like go get a business grant or save up lots of money to get started. Maybe when your business starts making money or you've got your first product out there, then you could start looking at reinvesting some. So yeah, I really don't think there is a limit to get started.
Yeah, really. So people could start, with an idea, and they could just kind of plot it out and go, kind of 3 sections, maybe an intro, a main training bit, and an end training bit, and then people could kind of go, well, do you know what? I'm going to practice now. I'm going to get my iPhone or my whatever phone I've got, and I'm going to stick it somewhere on, propped up against some books, as they would do a live, or if they're watching, and they could just practice. They could practice and go, let's just see how good it was. Because maybe a lot of people at the beginning, I did, I sucked, I was terrible,
So did I, but you have to go through that process, don't you, to get better at it?
Yeah. And I think that's really important. So people can kind of go, well, it might take me 3 months, 6 months to get this all up and running, but why don't I practice now? Because if I know there's this big financial problem coming, I want to be in a position, a year from now that, my job is whatever it is, but then I've got the income coming in that might be less or more, depending on how successful you are.
And I honestly, no, you're totally right. And I honestly think if your content is good enough, then people won't care at the start too much about the quality. Yeah. People are very open to and because now things are moving away from the polished Instagram lifestyle, people are doing the exact opposite, because as humans, that's what we do. We totally embrace one way of living, and then it spirals to the other. So now people are all going for this really real, raw feel in their videos, and people are like, my lifestyle isn't glamorous. People are promoting behind the scenes as much as they are the polished products. So now people are making all these videos, and it's actually much more popular to just do them raw and ready. So people have that on their advantage right now as well, because it's a very current trend. People aren't expecting everything to be polished and perfect. You don't have to look glistening all the time. Get your content out there. If your content's good enough, it will sell. It's as simple as that.
I was watching a guy last night giving examples of his best adverts, that he's put on to promote his products. So he put on Facebook, and some of his best ones. Well, all the ones he showed was one of his kids with an iPad, right, filming him doing a speech, like doing a sales thing, right? So he was in a boat, and his daughter was driving. Okay, the boat was on ramps, right? And then he had a green rhinoceros in another one because he was at an airport. So he said, "Oh, that'd be really good. I'll stand by the green rhinoceros." Okay, it's plastic. And then he had another one where he'd set fire to a book. Right? Don't do this at home. Um,
Everything at your own risk, not ours.
And it was just somebody holding a phone, right, filming him, right, really raw. Sound was iffy, and then people just loved it. So let's go on from that and talk about, we can see how it could work financially. We know we've got talents. We've all got individual talents, so we can use those talents, develop those talents. We know that the startup for this is really, really minimal, and then we can build our skills up. So let's just chat about, okay, so, I've got this idea for a course. What do I do with it? Where do I put it? I was going to say...
Go ahead. I was just going to touch on the fact that 2 words, social media. Where do I put it? Do you mean in the sense of how do you get started advertising it, or where do you actually place the product to sell it?
You need to place the product somewhere to sell it.
Yeah, that's true. So let's say landing page, and then you create all your social media to get traffic to that landing page.
Okay. So my thoughts were, and I've done this before, you set up I'll use Wix. There are other companies very, very similar to them. It's about 100 quid a year, $100 a year, that kind of thing. And, you can create your own site. They've got millions of templates. And then you can have just a back end. And that back end is membership. And you put your course in terms of all the modules onto that. And then people have to pay you access to the back end, and then they become a member. Then you've got a database that just sits in between. So you could actually set that up and design it really cheap. So that's one way of doing it. When I started off, what I did, because I didn't know if my stuff was any good or not, I went down the route of putting it on a site called Udemy, Udemy. Udemy's been going for a number of years. They paid out about $5 billion to the instructors, creators that have put courses on there. But Udemy have constantly got sales on, so the courses on there will be maximum you're going to pay is $20, and the cheapest I think now is about $12, right? So and then you get a cut of that. You might get, I don't know, between 50 and 70% of that kind of money. So you suddenly like $47, what I was talking about earlier, you might be averaging $5 or $6, off the back of a course. But their basis is, well, we're going to stack them high and let millions of people get access to them. And so that's just another way of doing it, because I quite like that route initially, because you can then get reviews back. You've got
it builds up your community in its own sense that way, doesn't it? It's a good organic way to do it. If your product's good enough, people are getting something from it, people are going to talk about it, and like you said, the reviews will speak for themselves.
So I think you've got a choice of things like Udemy, doing your own site. There's an organization called ClickFunnels, which I'm about to put all my stuff onto, which is really, really clever in terms of how it draws people in, and then that gives you the access to put the course onto the back of that. So you've got these as ways of taking your course and putting it out there. And then what you were talking about was the front end to that, your own social media. How to drive traffic.
Yeah, because I mean that is the place you get to show your personality and your transparency. It's all good. Don't worry, I understand it's all advertising, but to me, I find social media is so essential because people want to understand the person behind a product now. People want to know more than just a brand. They want to know the face. They want to know your story. And the best way to get across, and might I add, for free, is social media. And it's also somewhere that everybody is using. So yeah, I honestly, my personal opinion is I feel it's essential to be on there to make the valid connections. And then again, you indirectly sell the product just by being open and sharing your own passions, because I've found from my own experience in the past, direct sales don't work. But if I share my story every day, I give some value to people, they can see I'm transparent and that I actually love what I do. Over time, those people learn to trust you and they trust in what you say. And a lot of people want to become a part of that, which is amazing. So I feel, social media is the best way to do that, especially now we're in lockdown.
I just had an idea there. I mean, we can talk about it afterwards. It'll be interesting to see what people think to this, you know, and kind of comment afterwards. But there are so many different media platforms, social media platforms that you can pick. And I get really confused as, should I be doing stuff on Facebook? I know you love TikTok. You know, I've been told really, you know, Twitter is the one to go for because the amount of people move backwards and forwards. You know, I can't get my head around it personally, but, you know, then what you see, your YouTube off the back of that, and, you know, Instagram, I mean, there's 5.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, but the thing is with those, they're all directed towards different demographics. So obviously it will all depend on, like we were talking about the consumer profile the other day. You know, if you built up your consumer profile or your demographic or your target audience, or you want to target everybody with different products, then you're going to have to assess which one you need to be on and why. Because each platform, you advertise to people in a different way. There's a different market, there's a different crowd. For me, for myself personally, I need to be on all of them for different reasons. And I honestly don't think any successful brand doesn't have a presence on each one.
All right.
The only reason some of them aren't on TikTok at the moment is because TikTok is the fastest growing, but it's also the newest. But now if you look, everybody's getting on there in the past 6 months to the next year. It's going to be the biggest platform.
Okay. Maybe what we should do is a separate program just on social media.
I think we need to, because I could talk for days on that topic, but honestly, it is really essential. It really is.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's free advertising.
Well,
so not only can you create your product for free, you can market it for free with social media. But the thing with the social media is definitely do not try and expect to make instant sales. You need to give your brand time to grow and people to get to know you.
Yeah, all right. Okay, good point. I want to start winding down the show because of time.
Yeah.
So I made a list here of, these are just random people, right? There's no kind of like magic to any of these people. I thought I'd probably mention just a few people who have done digital courses, are doing digital courses, that have been successful. Now, there will be loads of people out there that will have, you know, achieved far less than this, you know, maybe made no money at all. So I've just kind of picked people here just at random that have been successful. So I've got 5 here that I was going to raise just very quickly. There's a lady called Kaylin Poulin, who's known as Lady Boss. And her story was basically, I mean, she was overweight, trained, and then became the kind of quickest person to get a bodybuilding card. And then she started wanting to get women into fitness. And within a 3-year period, from digital courses, from products as well, merchandise. Now, I'm not sure what the exact figure is, but I know it's over 10 million because I've seen her talk. She generated in income. We need to be very careful here because people go, yeah, I've had, you know, $10 million of generated income of $10 million. Well, they might say that, but the actual profit's going to be less.
Yeah, gross income and net profit are 2 different things. Yeah.
People promote this, you know, this, I've generated so much and it sounds great, but what they've actually made can be considerably less. So even if she's only made half of that, you know, because you've got merchandise, you've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
She's made over 5 million, right?
It's still very impressive. It's still very impressive.
Oh, it's incredible. So
like you said, very good point. People have to do their research on the lingo, the marketing, and the tricks people use. Got to be aware of that.
So I pulled out the next 5 people very quickly.
Yeah.
And these guys are all off Udemy, right? So these figures are there. So a guy called John Purcells, he did a course on Java tutorials and other things related, 940,000 students. You times that by $4 or $5 a time.
Yeah.
First of all, he did one particular course on a complete web developer. He's got over 1 million students. You times that by $5 or $6. A guy called Phil Ebenar, who did 80 courses ranging from photography to making beer, right? He's taken all his passions and he's put them together. Over 730,000 students around the world. Worked that one out. Vanessa Van Edwards, I've mentioned it, 127,000 students from courses on influencing people. And then the last one was a guy called Ian Dunbar, who had 15,000 students on dog training, right? So even dog training times that by $5 you know, a time. boom, you've got what you need. So you can do advanced dog training, all sorts of different forms of dog training. So there's, I can't remember how many, there are thousands, tens of thousands of people out there that are already instructors. And all you've got to do is look, going back to the very beginning, Johnny, what your individual talents are. What are you passionate about? What do you know about? What have you got knowledge about? What could you share with people in terms of your experience? And all you're doing is doing what we're doing, which is talking to a camera and then just telling them from your heart how to do it. It's as simple as that, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Just embracing the opportunity. And like I said, I don't want to go into cliches, but yeah, it is that simple. It really is.
And if it's going to cost you nothing to set up because you've already got a laptop or you can borrow one, you've got a phone or you can borrow one, you can sit there and make your courses. You can upload them because you've got an internet connection already for free. You can go onto Canva and create all your thumbnails and your images for free.
Speaking of that, just one more example. There's a guy called Hybrid Calisthenics on TikTok. He looks after his mum. He's a really cool guy. He gives all of his content out for free. But he started creating merchandise. He's got 200,000 followers, and all he used was an iPhone, literally his iPhone. All he does is make 1-minute videos. And he's had millions of views. So, there's another example. It's just possibilities are endless.
So, just in summary, there are no excuses for you lot sitting on your backsides in your self-isolation, giving it, what do I do, right? Get your creative heads on, right? Start being inspired. I'll go back to it just to say we're coming into a world of no normality where things are going to change. And you have a choice now. You can either, if you know the storm coming, right? Am I telling you the storm coming? No, I'm telling you what everyone else out there, the clever people that run our countries are telling you. They're telling you there's a storm coming. If you've got a storm coming, you've got a choice. You can either just sit in your house and wait for the storm to come and it's just going to blow you away, or you can just say, right, I'm going to do things now to protect myself against the storm. In this analogy, you'd put boards up against the windows, you'd tie things down, you'd make things secure. So what people should be doing right now, you're doing it, Johnny, I'm doing it. I can name a whole load of other people doing it, saying, right, I'm going to take control of my financial affairs. I'm going to achieve for myself financial freedom, and I'm going to do it in such a way that I'm going to have a ton of fun. It's going to be awesome, and I'm going to do stuff that I love doing. And see, when this storm comes and it creates havoc with millions of people, which we've already got, by the way, unemployed, I'm going to go, my money's in the bank, and I've got more money coming in and more money coming in. And that is the situation that people have to be in right now. They've got to wake up, smell the coffee, and say, right, if this is going to happen, what am I going to do? How am I going to protect myself? How am I going to protect my family? That's all I've got to say on it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I will see you next time, Mark. It's been a pleasure once again.
You're an absolute star. Thank you very much. Thank you for the valuable input. People be back in their houses found this really, really useful, and maybe you and I have a chat afterwards, and maybe we'll do something on social media, because I know very little about social media, and I'd love to know more, and I think you're the guy that can help me.
Definitely, yeah, I'd love to help. Definitely, yeah. I look forward.
Magic, you're a good man.
Awesome. Take care, Mark. I'll speak to you soon, okay?